Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mario Pedro Gould. You are now tuned into the Alpha Success Television Network, and let us see if I can grab your attention. Grab your attention. I need your attention on this installation. The topic that we are about to discuss today, dare I say, is one of the most important videos that I have made as it pertains to this topic of manifesting success. I will even go further and say that this is probably one of the most important videos out there as it pertains to success, because the information that I'm about to share with you is not typically information that people in the know normally communicate. The second thing that I would like to warn you in advance is that this topic today is going to be very, very difficult and challenging for you to grasp if you have not been introduced to the concepts that I will be introducing in this video. However, I will use a lot of examples, pictures, analogies, and see if we can get you thinking along the right lines. You may need to watch this continuously, repeatedly. Come back after 2 months and maybe it may make sense. 6 months, it may make sense. So, the topic of discussion is the true self versus the false self. The true self versus the false self. I know you're probably saying at this point, well, Mario, what does the true self mean? What does the false self mean? And what does it have to do with this topic of success? I will explain the difference using a story. But before I explain the difference using a story, I would like to emphasize that your ability to express your true self in anything that you're doing in life will have a huge impact on your ability to manifest success. So, that being said, what is the true self? What is the false self? Recently, a couple of weeks ago, I went to the yoga studio and I was doing a very challenging yoga class. And something very interesting happened from the beginning of the class to the end. So as I started doing my yoga practice, and as minutes went by, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, till the end of the class, I had a very interesting experience, which is, it may seem very, very creepy when you hear it, but stay with me. I had the experience that as the time progressed, there was something that was a part of me that was being released and being peeled out of my body. And by the end of the class, this thing had been put on the side. It was like a suit that I had, it was peeled throughout the yoga class and it ended up being put on the side. Okay, let's use another example. Every night before I go to bed, I always go, into the hot tub, right? And I spend about an hour in reflecting and just getting to know myself better and planning. But after 15 minutes or 20 minutes, immediately I see two entities show up. And one of them is, I like to call it my false self that comes out of me like a vest, and that leaves my true self. It happens when I go into, before I walk out in the morning, I go and stretch in a private room, and as I'm stretching, I'm able to release this mask and put it aside, which is again a false self, and then nothing but the true self shows up. So at this point, you're probably saying, well, Mario, what does this have to do with success and living a prosperous life? So every time I am able to separate the two entities that are operating within me, so your false self will show up in different ways. For me, it shows up as arrogance, egotistical behavior, anxiety, fear, and when all these emotions are happening, it blocks my light. I cannot shine. But when I'm able to take off this fake mask, this fake entity, then I go out into the world and I'm cheerful, I am joyful, I am peaceful, I am emanating love, and I want to share and I want to make a difference. So, in your pursuit of success, this is where we have been going. I was kind of worried about, well, Mari, is it the time to share this intricate secrets about success? Is it the time? But I believe time has come for us to graduate to a new level and talk about the invisible aspects of success as opposed to the doing what? Who do you have to be inside? So maybe think about some examples of people that are phenomenally successful. When you look at Steve Jobs, what a lot of people do not know is that he went to India and or something like that, and he spent a lot of time on his own, and in that time he discovered his true self. And his true self shows up as creativity. You look at anybody that's successful in any arena, especially a public speaker, what you see, what you're attracted to when they're speaking is their spirit, is their true self. So what does the true self really have to do with success? In order to, my experience, okay, this is my experience, in order for me to have been able to grow from an egotistical point of view and have a sense of care in everything that I do in my business, when I'm speaking here and presenting to you, I have had to go through the process of eliminating my false self. It still comes back a lot. But the more I eliminate my false self, the more my true self shows up. And it shows up in every aspect of my business, especially in terms of creativity, a spawning of ideas, especially in terms of faith. I believe I'm going to overcome. I believe I'm going to get to my promised land of milk and honey, regardless of the obstacles that lie ahead of me. They show up as, gosh, this is a very important topic. I show up as being a real, authentic person. Now, when I'm being a real and authentic person, I'm able to interact in society. And any business, any level of success that you'd like to accomplish in your life involves you interacting in society. So I don't spend too much time talking about relationships because I'm not a relationship expert, but if I would like to go and have a relationship with a lady, I should be able to comfortably reveal my true self and communicate with her. If I want to create relationships in the business world or even try and get a job in an interview, I have to communicate my truth, my true self, and then they feel me and they say, yes, this person is probably going to bring more value in what it is that we're doing. So I never knew that this is where my journey of success was going to lead, but I have discovered that for me, and I believe majority of people that have discovered the secrets of success, and they don't share it because maybe they don't even know what it is that's happening, but they have tapped into an invisible power. And this invisible power is a life force that is within you. And for you to reveal this life force, you have to release the false self, which some call ego, whatever it is. But it shows up. How do you want to? How can you detect what this false self is? Go about your day. You will notice you're anxious, you're uneasy, you have fear, you are depressed. Any negative emotions that engulf you and you feel like you're overwhelmed is a sign that you are being run by your false self. And as you're being run by your false self, you are imprisoned and are not free to create with love as opposed to fear. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that we are touching on a very, very deep topic here. So, like I said, you're going to need to come back and listen to this. And it may not make sense right now, but maybe 6 months it would make sense. But continue doing your search. And I would like to encourage you in your quest to manifest prosperity and success. Start spending more time on what is going on inside your mind. What are your beliefs? What are your intentions? How can you bring more of the unique individuality that you are into the world and make a difference?